record. Okay, so obviously we have Christmas and Christmas Eve this week, so it's a short week. Most traders are probably gonna chill out for these next week or two. They probably wouldn't trade. 4,400. Let me check it. Gold. Ooh, okay, but so opening 4-hour time frame. We have and we'll do it on both MNQ and MES. So obviously we got inflation data lower, unemployment stayed the same, so that's pretty bullish. We're now looking for more all-time highs. Everything looks pretty good, so this is what we got on ES and NQ. We got a risk on narrative. We have this demand zone on a major level that we're probably not going to touch, but it's down there. Then we have a different demand zone right here coming around, 0.5 down there that we almost touched. So again, we don't have to touch a 0.5 or a 0.8 just to mitigate anything, any area in this demand zone. We can mitigate orders, find buyers, and run up. Or literally anywhere in the chart, that same principle applies. We can find buyers at any moment. It doesn't even have to reach a schematic where we're looking for demand or discount. That's just a way of us filtering to read price. This is how we read price. And if it does something like this, where it reaches a demand or discount zone, then we can see that buyers have stepped in at a prime area. So if it never comes down to a demand zone, that's okay. Buyers can step in at any moment. And the same thing applies to even inside the schematic. That same idea applies. It doesn't have to reach our discount zone of 50% off or 80% off or whatever else. It can find buyers and mitigate orders of demand. At the top of it, in the middle of it, at the fourth of it, down here at the bottom. It can even break past it, find buyers, right below it. So that's why this is just a way of filtering to look for buyers. But okay, so it almost hit 0.5, but it didn't. Found buyers, pushed back up. We were kind of going back and forth. We distributed and redistribution, accumulation into now we're looking for the reaccumulation up. And so this little distribution, right after we were trying to break this redistribution over here, which I believe we did, we just kind of wicked out while doing that. So we found sellers, came back down, found buyers. Now we're trying to push out and up, or we're going to start going sideways, which is unlikely, because we have that bullish narrative again with the inflation and unemployment. Nice, man. You've been trailing your stop, huh? That's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. That sounds good, man. But so yeah, MNQ, right? This demand zone got mitigated. We still have the discount here, but we're likely not going to touch it. More than likely, what's going to happen is we're going to push up because of our economics. Anything can happen, of course. It can redistribute, but it's unlikely because of inflation and unemployment data coming out. Again, we just cut rates in December. We have no reason to go down at this point. We have all the reasons to make another leg for all-time highs. So coming back into MNQ, we have this reaccumulation back here that we've already mitigated. Orders came down, broke past this schematic, found buyers below it. Every order in this schematic has been mitigated and absorbed, so meaning this is inconsequential at this point. It doesn't have an effect on price or people buying or anything of that nature. This still has an effect over here because this is unmitigated. There's still orders to be absorbed here once buyers are enticed at this area. So what we're going to do, right, is I'm going to double check on ES that this is the case for both ES and NQ because they're correlating tickers. They usually respond to each other, so this is a way that we kind of find more supporting evidence for our bias in our story and our traits. So we look between correlating tickers. So ES and NQ correlate and move with each other for the most part. And so we have that demand area down there. We also have this where it was fully mitigated, and then we have some reaccumulations over here without any mitigation so far. So we got a 0.5 around here. That's likely not going to be touched. Again, this is the area where it's unmitigated. Down here as well, because this is the 0.5 of this reaccumulation back here that was never touched. And so this is where we're at. All right. Now we came down to mitigate this reaccumulation. We never reached the 50% discount, but again, we don't have to for it to find buyers and find our way up. If demand is very strong, it can just come from here and start running up. It doesn't have to come back down for a 0.5 or a 0.8, especially after it's reaccumulated, broke supply. So we have a lot of strength in buyers right now. And again, just to be clear, just to be very, very clear, this redistribution right here, the fact that the buyers have broken the top of this, invalidating supply, which means it invalidates the theory of sellers. We can see clearly that if there were strength in sellers, if we had a theory that sellers were in the chart, they wouldn't allow buyers to break past this point. Because in the past, right, this is what it's saying, in the past, at this price, range, we have decided that this instrument or this car or whatever, this vehicle, is less valuable. It broke out to the downside, and that's where we said in the past that this is less valuable. So when price comes back into this area, in this range, we look in the past and say, okay, before we said it's less valuable, but now we're saying it's more valuable because we've broken to the upside and broken past this point. So that's what I'm talking about when I say invalidation of supply. So we broke through the top of that, invalidated theory of sellers, invalidated supply with very strong buying candles. The only reason I can think for that, right, is that buyers have showed up we have a lot of buyers, much more than sellers, and we're looking for the reaccumulation. Break at the top and confirming our reaccumulation. Because again, remember, our reaccumulations are just distribution, accumulation, break of that high. And our reaccumulations don't need to have this accumulation on the bottom, like, structure to it. It can be just a point before it breaks up. And the reason for that is because the only reason we need this distro in the beginning is because we need opinions to form to manipulate and then, bring us to the path of least resistance using their liquidity. So that's essentially what we're looking at now. We have main levels here. We've already broken this redistribution. So we have no consequences from this redistribution schematic. No sellers can show up here at this point because we already found the sellers. But sellers can form and show up at any of these redistros back here, these little mini ones. So I suppose like right here, I'll be precise with it. That's kind of already mitigated. That's already mitigated. I guess the last point is this. This is the only place of sellers. So it's either this, somewhere around this area on the high, or it's going to be up here at the resistance of this high, and it might reject and go sideways like this. But it's unlikely. More than likely, it's going to go do something like this maybe to push up if it needs to reload. And remember, a reload schematic is simply just refinement. It's this whole thing is people deciding whether or not it's more or less valuable, but then there's a little mini moment that happens. It's the same thing. Is it more or less valuable? And because the decision has been made, specifically in this price range, because it reloaded, opinions formed, came back and forth. Is it more valuable? It's less valuable. Like, this is what it's saying, right? Less valuable, more valuable. So this is like, it's like zooming in, it's pinpointing where the issue is, and the issue is right here where we have resolved it by saying it's more valuable. So the reload is what that is. So it might want to reload. But if there's a lot of buyers and a lot of strength, it might not need to, have that opinion forms, go back and forth. Is it more or less valuable than break out? It can just break out. And, so there's obviously three options there. Sideways, reload, breakout. And I guess the fourth one would be, it kind of just starts falling down because of something in the future. Unlikely, but possible, So what's my plan? My plan right now is zoom in to, well, first let me make sure that's the case on ES as well. Any questions, anybody? All right. So reaccumulation right there that I can see so far. There's probably one right here as well that's not on my time frame. Maybe one right here. And so we already broke past our redistributions. So we've mitigated them fully. The only thing left is our distro up here. So we got a distro to worry about, this 0.5 and this 0.23 that we may or may not find sellers. And over here on NQ, we do have the 0.5 up here of these redistros and the 0.23. And then we have this top, resistance and support. Same with this, we have the resistance support at the top. So these are the levels that we have to break out and, be wary of on the way up. So 0.23. Okay, so this so far is what we have to worry about. On NQ, on ES, it looks like we've already pretty much hit the 0.5 of this redistribution. Or this distribution, I mean, not redistro, but 0.5 is coming up. 0.23 is right here. This is the resistance support at the top, and then this is the resistance support at the top as well. We don't have a 0.23 or 0.5 in the middle like we do on NQ for comparison, right? So, we'll just have to see. More than likely, if it is going to come up, it's going to touch this at the same time that NQ is touching maybe like 0.5 right there, or 0.23. That's my guess, because there's some distance to be made from here and from here. But, okay, so now we zoom in. And zooming in, what do we see? We see reaccumulation. There's a 0.5 and a 0.8 down there. If we end up coming bearish at opening, we're likely coming down to find that. We also have this reaccumulation, 0.5. Then we have this reaccumulation right here, and that's another 0.5. But I'll just put resistance support of the bottom of this reaccum because it's kind of the same area. And then we'll do like a 0.8 right here. Yeah, that looks good. And then 0.8 right here. And then finally, I guess the resistance support right here. Now, the top of these schematics, like right here, can act as a rejection point as well. So that's another thing to be wary about. But so we've reaccumulated. We have another mini reaccumulation over here. This is more than likely the one that would be touched if we were to open bearish. We could end up doing something like that. That would be much more likely than coming all the way down there, but it's still possible for it to come all the way down there. So we got a 0.5. We got our top resistance support, and we got our bottom resistance support. Same thing for this, 0.8. And then we got a resistance support on the bottom here. So this 0.5 lines up with this resistance support. So this would be a good place, I suppose, if it were to come down. That'd be a good confluence since there's two major levels to reject off of there. And then yeah, we're coming up past this past this redistribution on the low time frame. We've kind of already hit the 0.23, so I don't really need to care about that. But we have this rejection of about the 0.5, which lines up at the top of this. So that's coming up. So that looks good. So yeah, that's the plan right now. So once market opens, we're going to be looking for, that way up to this 0.5, 0.23 first. Do a little mini scalp, I suppose. We got a good sign of buyers. We got good bias. The only thing is it's going to be a short week, so that might affect price action, but we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see if it's going to open up bearish or bullish or whatever it's going to do. This one, 0.5, is up here as well. We got this little mini area that I'll just put, like 0.5. It's already hit the resistance of it. There's already resistance up there. I'll put 2.23 over here. Then we'll take this, right, and we'll look for this redistro. Even though it's part of this distro already, so 0.5, 0.23 is already charted out. And we've already broke through the resistance there. So far, yeah, this is what we got. So I'm actually going to zoom in now. And we got our major levels marked out. We got little mini, reaccumulations and whatnot to worry about if it wants to reject off of that, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not, the trading this week is going to be off. Yeah, I'm recording this. That's why I'm talking like this. Got to post it for people who want to learn, I got you. Yeah, I'll do that. So we open up a little bearish, coming back to mitigate some schematics. I usually wait for, like, when market opens, obviously there's going to be a lot of volatility. I usually wait for a clear direction if I'm going to trade New York Open, just off of the volume and the direction. So that's something I do sometimes, especially if I have like a target, like, like this, a 0.5 down here or something like that, like this, or down there. But so, I sometimes wait for that momentum, and I trade that momentum. The only thing about it is managing the risk, right? Managing the risk is a little hard while doing that. Because if it reverses on you, then you have to get out, and you don't really have a clear level to get out like you do here at these schematics. But so it looks like, the direction might be bullish. We'll see once these candles end. Let's see what ES is doing. ES is doing the same thing. Might start going sideways and consolidating, and that's fine. If it does that, then we just don't trade it. But yeah, ES looks like mitigated this 0.5 down here, then started running up for that 0.5 up there. Looks like we're aiming for that 0.5 up there as well. So that marks kind of like no real clear direction. If I were to take a long, yeah, I don't know, maybe from this 0.5, 0.8. We'll see how it goes. Get this out the way. So 0.5, 0.8 has been touched. There's a lot of selling momentum though, so I'm not going to buy out of that. Usually what we do is we wait for signs of buyers, to step in once we hit these zones. And I just don't really see that right now, so I see a lot of bearish momentum. We might be taking shorts here. We got a 0.5, 0.8 coming up here. And we got a 0.5 down here as well. Yeah, I'm ready to take a short. Once we, see if we find some buyers on this 0.5, 0.8, that might stop me from taking a short, but it looks like we're coming down. So we hit 0.5, we still got a lot of sellers, a whole lot of sellers. Okay, so it's probably gonna hit that 0.5 already. I'm gonna go ahead and sell, and we'll aim for this 0.5. If the momentum switches on us, it is what it is, and then we'll get out on a second confirmation candle if it's bullish. And I'll add right here, and we'll see how that works out. On ES, it looks like we are kind of trying to maybe redistribute. So that's a lot of sellers. That looks really good. Now we might hit that 0.5, hopefully. I'll put it up there just above it, just a little bit above it. But that should be clear. I'm gonna just exit right there. So that's 350. We'll see if it reacts to the 0.5. It doesn't. It's still going. Might hit 0.8 down there. But this is prime buying zone at this point, so it'd be really risky to sell out of here. Yeah, so, okay, we hit 0.5. We're finding some buyers. It looks like we're coming back and forth a little bit. That's good. That's a good signal. Same here, 0.5, 0.8. Now it'll be about if it breaks down below this. And if it breaks down below that, it's going to come for maybe 0.5 down here, 0.8 down there. All of which is possible, These are really insignificant schematics compared to something like this. Or this, even this one, this big one down here. So coming down for that is not out of the question. More than likely it won't. It's probably gonna, you know, jump up from here, but we'll see. It could be a bearish day. So, you know, that kind of trade right there is, it's a little harder and riskier, obviously, because the stop isn't defined in that trade. Of course, you would have to cut it at some point before the risk, the you know, the loss gets too heavy. But the target for the 0.5 being there, the selling momentum before it's even reached it, you know, it's more than likely going to come down for it, like it did. So at this point, I think I'm going to zoom into the seconds and look for a schematic like accumulation or something like that. And the reason I'm going to the seconds here is because, you know, obviously you can see a lot more, but it gives me a better insight on the how many buyers are stepping in at this zone that I'm expecting buyers. So if I zoom in and I see some, you know, consolidation, I see manipulation, then I can, you know, essentially say I'm at a high probability of it winning if we run up. So right now I see preliminary support, I see automatic sellers climax, automatic reaction. So 1 drive, 2 drive, maybe 3 drive, but I don't know. That's possible. All right. Yes, I was saying like that. Okay, so definitely 3 drives right there. So we got 3 drives for sure, which is part of our filtering criteria. The reason I like to see 3 drives is because I like to see unified buyers stepping in, which is usually institutions. Because again, it takes a lot of money to move these charts, even by 1 tick. It takes a lot of money. Nothing is random in this market. It's all ran by institutions, hedge funds, you know, anybody with a lot of big money, trading algorithms or you know, things like that. So 4 drives. We're testing the high. Now what can this be, right? Accumulation into a distribution that makes a redistro. So I have to be aware that on the, you know, the larger time frame, this can be a redistro, even though we're in a prime buying zone. That's the risk that you always take when you buy off of accumulations. It's inherent, you know. Now today looks very bearish, so looks like we redistroed, but we'll see. ES looks like a bunch of redistros on the way down. We're hitting resistances like the top right there. We broke through the schematic. So we got a 0.5 down here to worry about, 0.23 or 0.8 to worry about as well. So there's a spike down, we hit the 0.8. If we come back into range, that's a good sign of a manipulation. I've also seen stuff like inside of this accumulation, the manipulation happens and then it makes another mini micro accumulation for it to, you know, run up and come back into range. And that just adds on to the bias of buyers stepping in. But yeah, it looks like it's coming back into the range, so that was a manipulation maybe. So that's our second test B manipulation. If it breaks through the high, that's something that we can trade, but it has to break through the entire range, so maybe this high. But you know, if we break through this high, it's not too bad. So ES has definitely started switching over. We've broken, you know, a lot of supply zones here on the second chart, and we got a lot of strength in buyers as well, is what it looks like from these the displacement of those candles right there. Now what else is possible is this is a redistro. It's coming up to mitigate it, 0.5, 0.23, then it runs down. But that's exactly why we wait for it to break and invalidate supply for us to take longs, and we don't just take a long right now. I use 5 seconds. I like 5 seconds. Sometimes I'll even use the 1 second chart. Yeah, but obviously first, you know, like you saw, I like to, you know, I need my context in the high time frames. And of course I'm switching between the 1 minute time frame just to see what it looks like. And yeah, again, so here we're getting the strength. Like I said, it is a possibility this is a redistro, and it's coming up to mitigate 0.23, 0.5, you know. But again, that's why we wait for that break to the upside and validate the theory of sellers, confirm our accumulation, then we can take some longs off of some mitigations or something of the sort. So we'll see how it reacts here, because that should be like kind of like a 0.23, I guess. We'll see if buyers are still showing up, and if it is, that's a good sign. We're trying to invalidate sellers, so the more things we see that invalidate sellers, the better. Otherwise, we're going to come down lower for more, like down here, 0.5, 0.8 for a bearish day. And that's totally fine too. You know, like I said, anything is possible. This 0.5, 0.8 down here, you know, a lot of stuff down here to mitigate. Unlikely, but it's possible. So we got some strength in sellers, buyers. You know, it's possible that we get a second manipulation or third manipulation, because this can happen multiple times before it ends up running up. Not only that, but on the minute chart, it might want to make a schematic as well. You know, it might want to make 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. So this can take hours, or a hour, or 2 hours, and it might not happen on the second chart where I'm looking. But okay, buyers are stepping in again. So everything we've seen so far has been buyers. You know, buyers coming in. It's validating my theory of buyers. Because we only have 1 manipulation in second test B, I don't want to get caught in a second manipulation in phase D, you know. But it's just, again, the inherent risk that you take anyways is how that works. So you just need to find a place where you can have a set stop. That's high probability. So we broke through the top. ES, we broke through the top as well. Invalidated sellers. Yeah, we kind of wicked out. We did wick out, but still okay. The fact that we even reached up here is a, that's what I would call it, basically LPS. You can buy out here if you wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and buy. I'm going to put my stop below here, and we'll see how that goes. It's reaccumulating. I'm going to add to my position. We'll aim for up here, high of the day. We'll see if it redistributes. If it redistributes, I might just exit, but we'll see what it does. Because buyers are still stepping in. Sellers, yeah, I don't like how that looks, but we'll see. Yeah, that don't look good. So I'm actually going to cut the loss here. And we'll just wait to see how it reacts, because it might want to come in to like 0.5, 0.8 over here. So that's what you would consider, I suppose, like an LPS entry. I didn't wait for a mitigation. You know, sometimes I just don't. As long as like the loss is, you know, it's still protected. As long as it's like that, then I'll just you know, enter anyways. But when it comes to something like this loss that I take from holding it, it's just way too big if I wait for it to come back to 0.5 or 0.8 or something. So if it starts to reaccumulate here instead of redistributing, I'll be able to find some sort of buy. But it looks like sellers were stepping in for a moment there. So that's a redistro. Let me check on the minute chart, see what it might want to be doing. I mean, looks very, very bullish. We just need some buyers to step in now. Once buyers start stepping in, we should be rallying. Like right here, maybe. We break through the high. That's good. We'll see how it reacts here. Okay, yeah, I'm going to buy. It might want to come back to mitigate, you know, this 0.5 down here, and that's fine. But so far, that looks like a good LPS entry as well. Not bad at all. I'm about ready to add to my position as well. I'm going to add to my position. Again, it might come back down for a 0.5 mitigation, but as far as I'm concerned, it should be running up at this point. Now I'm going to break even my stop loss. I'm going to actually, okay, it already stopped me out anyways. Usually what happens as well, right, is it will, you know, have the accumulation, LPS, and at this point, this is where it starts to kind of fall down to hit this 0.5 and 0.8 a lot of the times. Like, I see that pretty often, so, you know, taking a trade at this point is less probable. And again, remember what I was talking about. What's our redistros? Our redistro is just accumulation, then fall down, break to the lows, redistro. So that's just the inherent risk that you take. So getting a lower entry on these kind of trades is better. It's always better to get a lower, better entry, you know, obviously. So here, right, it's coming down to mitigate 0.5, 0.8 here of this LPS. This would be a good LPS trade. Again, what did I say before is that usually it likes to drop down all the way to 0.5, 0.8 at this point. If it's ever going to do that, it would do it now after, you know, kind of like 1 or 2 reaccumes, then it starts to run down. So yeah, that's very possible. It's kind of reacting off of the VWAP. ES looks really good as well. It hit the 0.5 already of this. On the minute chart, it looks pretty good as well. Just might be ready to redistro, that's the only thing. But other than that, it looks really bullish. So we got a lot of strength. Getting ready to buy. It broke through the top. See how it reacts. It's resisting pretty well, but we'll see. Maybe it needs to reload. Kind of reloading right here. Yeah, it looks good. I'm going to buy in. We're going to break even, like, pretty much ASAP. Yeah, I'll break even now. But yeah, that looks good. If it stops me out, that's okay for me. I'm not too worried about that. Again, I have a lot of zones where it wants to come down to mitigate orders, so if I miss it, it's fine with me. Let me know if you guys have any questions or anything like that. So it's coming down. Got some sellers. This would be the moment where you're trying to decide whether or not to enter again. It's just always a way to be wary of what's going on here with the, you know, the zones down here. So it should be selling off, as far as I'm concerned. You can scalp. It's just riskier to try to like scalp the way back down. Obviously because we have so many buyers showing up. But yeah, it looks like it's trying to reverse. So it's not too bad. But it is something that people do is short to these levels. Similar to how my New York opening, you know, I send a short or something to a level that's nearby that is clearly being targeted. So, you know, here, 1, 2, 3. Once it hits one of these levels, this is where you usually will take an entry. See if it reaccumulates. It's trying to for sure. Yeah, it's definitely trying to. So what it might want to do now is, this is what I'm seeing, is it might want to just go sideways for a little bit, maybe until 10 or 11, and at 10, 11, it's gonna, you know, sweep one of these levels or something of the sort. So this could be a distro, you know, something like UTAD face D into something like that. That's something possible, or it could just be right now, break to the upside, you know. But if it's gonna go sideways, you know, it's possible something like that happens. Distro, yes, of course, it can just come back up, reaccumulate overall, and that's how our schematics work. You know, they turn into each other, so that's why. You know, there's the inherent risk everywhere. That's why we have to get our orders in place at the right moments and manage the risk correctly. So there's a distro. Point 5.8 hit. Let's see if it wants to come down to the 0.5.8 down here. So I might sell out of here, just depending on if the sellers continue to show up right now. Okay, so I'm going to sell out of here, and we're going to target this 0.5 down here, and we'll break even. Okay, so we broke even. That's fine. I mean, we could try again, honestly, but it already hit 0.8 down here. Usually, like I said, 1 or 2 reaccumulations, then it starts to come down, tries to hit 0.5.8, then it runs. That's a good, like, that's what happens a lot of the times. So that's good. Sellers are still showing up. We'll see, though. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the chance for the 0.5 down here. It's possible it runs up on me, so I just have to be careful, I guess. Maybe I'll just place a stop up there. Pretty much a 1-to-1. So it looks like it's going to run up on me. I mean, to be honest, it had no real reason to do that unless it's just going to run up. Yeah, so. Like, it has zero reason to do that. I'm just going to exit now, honestly. Yeah, I'll exit now. So I'll just wait for what it wants to do. It might redistro here, and that's fine. I just didn't want to. It is what it is. It shouldn't really be given, you know, strength here if it's going to come down to the 0.5.8. Of course, it's possible it's going to, like, redistro, but like I said, it's fine. Yeah, like right there. ES is trying to redistro. Okay, that's a clear redistro right there. Yeah, now he might come down to hit the 0.5. So I'm actually going to sell at this point. I'm going to sell here. Again, we're going to aim for that. Stops above there. We'll see how it wants to go. Okay, at this point, I'm going to break even. I'll take a profit, I guess, right here. And we'll let the rest try to hit TP. Even though, I don't know why I had it there. I should have put it right here, where we hit 0.5. I got confused with this 0.5 and the actual 0.5 of this little this accumulation. But, I mean, if it's going to drop more, it might as well come down to the 0.8. Yeah, I kind of messed up there because I thought this 0.5 was this one, but it's actually up here where it touched. But now we'll see the reaction, so we'll see whether or not it wants to run or not. And ES has really started to get real low. It's really down there, so this will be a prime spot to just run up at this point. And also remember, this is a Monday, and Mondays are consolidation days. It's people going back and forth, deciding what the direction is for the week, for the most part. So you know, we're gonna see a lot of back and forth movement and opinions, things that don't make sense. That's just something that happens on Mondays. If we get a micro accumulation here, that would be amazing. You know, because then we have two reasons. You know, we have buyers showed up here, we have buyers showed up here above it. You know, we have no reason to go down at that point. That would just be a perfect buy signal. So it looks like it really wants to go for that 0.8 down here. Just kind of doesn't really make much sense for ES unless it's going to redistro into this 0.5 down here. But I guess it's possible that it'll like touch the bottom maybe and then run up. But if it's gonna come down lower, I think we're probably gonna redistro overall. You know, maybe hit that, I guess down there or something. It might be really bearish. And just because we have that bullish bias, you know, it doesn't mean that it can't do a small correction like that just to find buyers and run up. And then we would end up, you know, liquidating these people that think it won't break down below these levels, take their liquidity, bring it to the path of least resistance. So it fits the narrative. It's not like it's getting too low. It's actually pretty insignificant compared to the movement that we need up. Hey baby boy, hey baby girl. I mean, that's a clear redistro. So I hit 0.8, and we'll see how it, you know, reacts. I might just take the buy here, just to, you know, get that nice entry in. I get it though, you know, it's a lot riskier. This one isn't really that good, but we'll see. Could be a nice entry. I'll do another buy because I thought I entered in with 5, but I entered in with 3. So see if it reacts. Hopefully it does. I'll let it, you know, hit one of these levels before I break even if it's going to do that, but it looks like it wants to redistro. Yeah, I mean, ES even hit the bottom of it already. It's aiming for that 0.5 down there. So I think I'm going to probably break even here at some point if it doesn't fall through on me. Okay, so it fell through on me. I'm just going to exit there because I have a feeling it's redistroing. So, I mean, like, look at this, right? There's no reason for it to break through down this level. On ES, it's probably going to come for that 0.5 down here. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it really. Even though this is a 0.8 entry on an active accumulation, or on a confirmed accumulation with second test B fake out, still, like, we got a lot of reasons on correlating tickers to keep running down. We broke through demand level, invalidated demand, a lot of strength in sellers, pretty much reloading to hit these 0.5s and 0.8s down here. I don't see any good coming from buying out of that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I see. But I mean, it's running up now. Again, we'll see. It's just this, you know, it's just this. This is the only thing throwing me off. It's already redistributed overall, pretty much. It's broken the low. We got a 0.5 below. Yeah, I don't know. I see more for the downside than I do for up, so. Looks like a micro accum. That would be a real good signal to buy. If not for just at least a small pullback in. Hey. Quit that. Don't do that. Yeah, that looks good. Hey, what did I just say about that? Quit that. No more of that. Yeah, that looks really good. I mean, I would buy out of this for sure, actually. Yeah, I'll attempt to buy. I could be wrong, very wrong, for obvious reasons. I mean, we have our warning signs, but I'll take the risk. I think it might at least pull back a little bit. This might just be my trade for the day, if this works out, and it looks like it will. Yeah, we got an LPS off of this little micro accum. Now we're heading up for 0.5, 0.8. I guess I'll break even now. There's no point for it to come down at this point besides to redistro. So we can just pretty much chill out, see how it goes. It might reject off the 0.5. I'm aiming for 0.23 because that's where I believe it'll go. But if you were playing it safer, you'd probably just place it at the 0.5 right there. Oh, damn. All right, well, it is what it is. Maybe redistro? I mean, we hit the 0.5, I guess, of this this manipulation. I guess it's not good though. It's not a good setup. Not like how the long I took was. That's definitely looking risky. But I mean, I could try it if we really want to. Okay, I'll take a buy. We'll try it. I mean, it might just fall through on me, but it's not too bad. Basically, it's a 0.5 entry. I'm gonna break even now. That displacement up is good with me. It's reloading. It's a good reload. Hopefully it breaks that high. If it breaks that high, it's not going to just a 0.5. It's going to go up to 0.23 at least. I mean, it might even just start going sideways overall. No, probably not. Probably not. It's probably not. It's probably just going to choose either one. So here's 0.5. See if it blows past it. It does. I'll just take the profit here. So that's good. Good trade. I think that's the trade for the day. Other than that, you know, like, there's going to be more opportunities, but, you know, nice, bro. 480 profit. That's badass. Later, bro. Have a good day at work, man. Yeah, I think I'm done too. That's like 350. Not bad. It's okay. For Monday, it's real good. So I'll just leave it at that. Like I said, Mondays will go back and forth, and they'll choose to make no sense most of the time. So to continue trading is just more risk for no reason on a Monday. But we'll come back, we'll come back tomorrow and keep going at it. But